Grand finals of the WardiTV Winter Championship. Yes, oh yes. This is what this entire weekend has been about, coming to the point of crowning a champion. One of these players will secure their spot in the WardiTV 2022 end-of-year event. The other will walk away with some points. Still some good prize money, obviously, as well. But just in general, excited to crown our first champion of the year in one of our championship events. Basically an event of this tier in the WardiTV system. ByuN is in the bottom left. He starts this grand final down 0-1, and that's because he got knocked down to the lower bracket by his opponent, who he rematches against right now. In the top right-hand corner from TvZ Gaming with that 1-0 lead, this is Solar. So we're going to call this Game 1, but we'll probably end up calling it Game 2 at some point, because it's always awkward when someone starts with the 1-0 lead, but Solar has the 1-0 lead because he came from the winner bracket. And of course, it would be stupid of me not to quickly say, if you do enjoy this series and you're watching on YouTube, consider interacting with the video to help us out with the algorithm, help us to be seen by more people, spread the StarCraft love, and all of that goodness. So leave a like, consider subscribing, or of course you can comment in the comment section down below, something like that. You guys know the drill. You guys, if you use YouTube, I'm sure you know what to do. Do check that out. Just a little reminder, because every time I remind people, the videos do a whole bunch better. So thank you so much for that. Grand finals, best of 7, like I say. ByuN got to veto a map, so he vetoed Pride of Altaris, no surprises. Just basically, so Solar gets a 1-0 lead, but it's basically like he got the 1-0 on the map that's kind of most favored for him anyway. So while it is an advantage, it's not like, it would be even crazy if then, Solar starts 1-0 and he then gets to pick Pride of Altaris, Glitter and Ashes, and something else. So it just offsets a little bit of the advantage of having that 1-0 lead. So still obviously nice to have the 1-0 lead, because it saves you from having to go out and win the map. But it just makes it a little bit closer. I like it. That's my personal favorite way of getting this 1-0 lead advantage set up. ByuN actually killed a Zerglin with his Reaper. I apologize. Missed that as I'm just rambling on about things. So yeah, a little Ling going down initially, and that's always a nice grab on the side of ByuN. Being able to kill that is a 10 out of 10 play. Well then, we do have a couple of queens coming up. Now, of course, we just casted about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, a winner bracket final between Solar and ByuN. That's, well, it didn't go very well for ByuN. Solar won 3-0. And in the first 2 games, which were on Berlingrad and also Glitter and Ashes, it just felt like nothing went ByuN's way for the first, at least 10 minutes of each game. Well, the second game on Glitter and Ashes ended in 10 minutes, but on Berlingrad, the first 10 minutes just sucked, and then ByuN found a moment where he was able to get some bases killed, he was able to gather some momentum, and he was able to start really turning it around. And Solar just about eked out in the end anyways, but it just felt like, if ByuN's going to be able to win a rematch here, he needs to have a better early game. The first few minutes need to be much more in his favor. He needs to get damage done. He just needs some better trades. He needs to take control of the map. He can't just be sitting back doing nothing, being scared, because that's really what it felt like led to. I mean, to be fair, it's not like he was sitting back being scared in that series either, until he tried stuff. Obviously, he did all of that because Solar was just so good defensively. He did put himself in a good position. He did deal with a lot of ByuN's aggression in a really good way. So it's tough. Don't get me wrong, Solar just played a really good series. But, I mean, the answer for ByuN is just, trying to make those attacks get a little bit more done. Trying to find the openness, trying to create distractions so he can be effective elsewhere. Otherwise, this may be a very sad grand final if Solar just gets to kind of have his way again. So we will see as we get set up here. The Overlord in the main base gets shot down to begin with. A couple of depots continuing up right now as well over on the front here. So those couple of depots coming through. And again, just going to be seeing extractors, a spore crawler, lings, everything continuing in for the moment. And one thing out on the left-hand side, just going to see a couple of engineering bays coming up from ByuN, refineries as well, all coming through. Stim pack is about to finish, so we're going to have Stim on the side of ByuN as well. And yeah, we'll just kind of go from there, as a couple of creep tumors will be picked away at, so just going to clear those out a little bit. Combat shields is producing on the side of ByuN. Obviously, he already has that stim, so we'll see if he can utilize that as the medevacs come online. But he is very focused on basically playing bio. Like, Hellion straight into some bio play. Wants to be aggressive from the start. Has a nice quick third base. And if he can just, have a nice quick third with some momentum behind it, then he's potentially going to be in a really good spot here. So, a lot of opportunity, a lot of possibility. As we get this underway, the Hellions pulling back down to the bottom of the map for now. As we're just going to see Solar taking a 4th base. Some of the attacks I like the most in TvZ are really the ones where you just preserve those Hellions for as long as possible. You just keep them alive, you don't let them die, you just keep them going. And then, of course, you eventually get to this stage of the game where you can just say, cool, I morph them into Hellbats and go, 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 now we attack, right? I love that kind of, way of playing the TvZ attacks. You kind of just team the Hellions up with the Stim and the Hellbats, and they're tanky, and they keep you alive for a long time. And that's not quite what this is going to be. This is just going to be Hellions supporting. They're still very good trading with Lings, with the Marines behind. But if they do survive this round of attacks, they will have that ability to morph into Hellbats later. And like I say, it's just a benefit for having kept these units alive all this time, basically. So that's what we're going to start seeing as our Marines start to fight the Ling Bane. 2 Hellions coming through, a Queen. Ooh, nearly going down, but now ByuN's kind of got to go running. He's just got to get out of reach of these units. I mean, honestly, he loses a couple units, but he does, for the most part, trade pretty well. And he's going to get himself back through, and he's going to start forcing some transfusions off the Queens. He'll kill one Queen. Obviously, he's got lift-up potential for most of these units. A couple of Hellions get left behind, and he will drop to the main base to try and keep this momentum up. Trading very well so far as ByuN. He's going to have to probably lift up here. Oh, has to leave a couple of units behind. Would rather keep the medevac alive, which is not the wrong call. Let's get turned back to the low ground now with these Marines. Can't quite decide where to go. Medevacs beginning to unload. No! Half full medevac goes down. So that's the efficiency turned back around. And we'll give Solar a little bit of a chance once again. I mean, resources loss was looking good for ByuN, but that medevac and all the units inside, once again, it evens things out a little bit. Now, this is nice because Solar's just not really ready for this attack. Couple Widow Mines. They were just close enough together that the Banes could go between them and blow up. And that was actually good control from Solar. Good realization that you could just put the Banes between those mines, blow them up, and boom, the Widow Mines are gone. And, yeah, obviously that goes kind of nicely for Solar. I mean, again, credit to Solar, because that wasn't just like an A-click, that was like, he specifically made his Banelings go between the mines and kill them off at, at the same time. Well, ByuN has to back it up a little bit as well. It's just going to be seeing the 2-2 upgrades coming up from ByuN. The medevac's still in production. The vehicle plating is coming up also, as we do get a hatchery down to the top of the map. This little medevac going to go and think about a boost forward. Isn't going to find enough of an opportunity just yet. It's coming to wrap around. These few Marines taking some damage as I'm just going to see ByuN continue to push. I tell you what, if nothing else, ByuN's definitely kept the pressure up this game. He's refused to stop. And now a couple of Widow Mines here and there actually do catch. The first one caught a lot, 17 kills on this guy. The second one just caught a Ling that was already split away from the pack, and Solar dealt with it handily. But yeah, first mine obviously doing so well is great, as this medevac low HP does get one more mine shot off, but just for a single drone. Obviously the Lings are starting to wrap around it looking for the kills, so just had to go for whatever it could already. And it's going to take that one drone down. ByuN's still pushing on the right, dropping over there, while we do see a push on the left side as well. So a couple different directions being pressured at the moment. It's actually up in supply right now, but of course we are playing on Glitter and Ashes, and the supply lead on Glitter and Ashes doesn't always transition into everything you want it to be, because it's just a large map. It's difficult to close games out on. It's got 30 army supply advantage right now, though, so it's definitely looking pretty good for ByuN. He presses up the ramp at the moment, getting that started. The Overlord getting chipped away at and pushed away to the side. Two Marines are going to advance forward and just again trying to pick away at a few of these Banes, trying to bait into the Widow Mines. ByuN hasn't cleaned out the creep on the top side of this, so he's got to be a little bit careful. Enough damage out, but there you kind of just sit and deal with the Banes that were rolling in, but then there was one Baneling that connected, and plus a bit of Widow Mine splash, and a few Marines did end up going down eventually. Now Solar's evening out the numbers. The couple Widow Mines are left, still connecting. This one last one, it died before it did anything else. As ByuN just has to go off creep. He can run away from the Banes at least. But he's out of mines, and that kind of means he's out of time. So he'll run back in here. There's a few Banelings ready to go. He will start step back and then unload. Obviously, 1 or 2 Marines at a time means that's just not effective for the Banes to commit. And so just again, trying to find the most that he can at this moment. A lot of buy units still coming up. +3 armor from ByuN, but no +3 attack. Something we talk about all the time in ByuN's TvZ. Solar is getting ever closer to the lurkers, by the way. The seismic spine's on the way up. He's not got many more fights he'll have to survive to get to that stage. All of those Widow mines are together, and the same group of Banelings just got rid of 3 or 4 mines all at once. That's a big loss. Obviously, if you don't lose all those mines at once, you have a lot more splash damage going off through the fight. That Widow mine actually hit the Terran units as well. The Banelings managed to drag it over. So that's a little bit unfortunate, because that actually becomes quite costly, and those units are just a little bit more bruised than they should have been. This drop goes down. Got a few drones at least on the other side of the map, so making progress there. As we do have the Lings now, for the first time in a while, probably going to be able to go kind of venture past the halfway marker. And now Solar is morphing in Lurkers, ready to fight. ByuN, ready to fight Lurkers? No, he's not. Because he's currently sitting on, well, a Ghost Academy that just started. But mine's burrowed, not all of them got to fight. I think one of them did. ByuN has a lot of units that are off to the left side, not joining in. Finally, they are going to come into the fight. Now the Lurkers are going to burrow, but the question is, can ByuN actually engage into the Lurkers? Can he just kind of split and dodge and take that fight? It was kind of close. You know, there wasn't a lot of buffer for the Lurkers. There was some Hydras, but Hydras don't want to sit there and tank. Usually you want the Lings in front of the Lurkers, and that's what's going to stop the buy units from closing the distance and getting rid of the Lurkers really quickly. ByuN going to go for a little bit of heavy drop play. He's got a big medevac drop to the right side, splits out to the left. And right now he just wants to keep Solar back because he's about to establish a Ghost setup in the game. So if he can get the Ghosts on the map, that will go a long way to helping as well. Drop up the right-hand side. These Zerglings taking a good bit of damage. Marauder's counting backwards a little bit too. All of these Lings looking to wrap around, trying to kill whatever they can. Medevac's load up, going to look to go into the main base. And like I say, ByuN more than anything, I think is just trying to buy time for the eventual Ghost that he's on the way to. He's actually going to find these Lurkers, and he's going to start splitting into a concave against them. Yeah, I'm not sure if Solar's super upset about that, because that was a lot of units of ByuN that went down for those Lurkers. And I think he'll save the hatchery as well. ByuN has to evacuate. ByuN's supply just dropped. He also dropped into the main base, where he just lost units, so not a great couple moments from ByuN, actually, and I think attacking into those Lurkers was just not the right call. It was tempting. You know, you get to clean out the Lurkers, which is nice, but does he have enough on the tail end of this to survive? Well, Widow Mines are trying to burrow up. We're trying to drop some units on top of the Banes that are advancing forward. Need to make sure the Ghosts have a chance to get their snipes off if they're needed. Now Solar's still running units in kind of a couple at a time. Not sure how much I like that. We do snipe down the Vipers. There's not a lot of Lurkers here. It's Hydras, Lings, and Banes. Isn't enough to bust on through. I think ByuN's going to start turning this around, and especially with snipes on the tail end, he's going to get rid of a lot of these units if they have to turn tail and run. One more Widow Mine shot gets rid of some Banes. We're going to line up some more snipes. There's a single Lurker left out over here, and Solar will not break through. ByuN is going to hold down on the bottom side of the map. One more snipe takes this Lurker down as well, and that's going to be a cleanup over on the bottom left. 22 new Banelings morphing in on the side of Solar's, just getting about 36. The rebuild happens so quickly. Now, ByuN's got 4 bases, though, and he's moving toward 5, so his base count is alright. He might just be okay here, just to get rebuilt and to go again. You know, the one thing that Solar was actually missing in that fight, funnily enough, was Lurkers, and it obviously is because he lost Lurkers on the other side of the map initially. That's what we were talking about, whether ByuN should have dove those. ByuN was too far forward. He was on very low HP, and he doesn't have a lot of medevac, so he can't lift and leave from a situation. Widow Mine's being set off by the Overseers, and the rebuild of Banelings is actually just going to be too much. Just as we maybe get a little bit hopeful for ByuN, we probably shouldn't have done, as Solar is all over the place. GG's, and Solar is going to win this game. Obviously puts him into a 2-0 lead for the overall best of 7 grand final. As we have got in the top left side, well, down 0-2, but let's see if he can bring it back a little bit. I mean, he's only actually lost 1 game, so it shouldn't be too disheartening in this series overall. And of course, his own map pick now, so we'll see what he can do. The Red Terran player from the Shopify Rebellion, ByuN. Bottom right-hand corner from Kaizi Gaming, the blue Zerg player is Solar. Alright, map number 3 we'll call it, and like I say, Berlingrad is the battlefield. Will be one of these maps which the Terran player picks, of course. Shorter, easier to attack across. Easier to build on your advantages on this map as well, you know, so see what happens. Solar might play some roaches. He's been playing some roaches here and there in the TvZs. So it's definitely a possibility from him to see some roach play as well. Also something we can be looking out for. I just want to say, again, once more, just thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. So far today, the grand finals of the WardiTV Winter Championship. Little reminder, we do have the 2v2 semifinals and finals after this. We are going to overrun into the 2v2. Sorry about that. Obviously, not much we can do. The games today have just been a little bit longer, which probably was expected. But we are going to miss the start of the 2v2. But once the 2v2, or once we're wrapped up here, we'll go straight into the 2v2, the next map available, and keep you guys in-game, in action, and just keep casting StarCraft for y'all. So basically non-stop StarCraft 2 all day long. And we'll keep you guys up to date with all the games, all that kind of fun stuff. Yeah. Just wanted to say thanks as well for watching and tuning in, because the viewership today has been redonkulous. Over 2,700 people at points, almost pushing 3K, and I really do not remember the last time we hit 3K viewers. So thanks everybody for watching. Hope you're all having a brilliant weekend. And once again, just one more quick ask, that if you guys don't already follow the channel, to follow. We cast StarCraft all of the time here, so if you're enjoying the cast and if you're enjoying the tournaments, follow for more. We have so much more coming for you. Obviously, the cast of Civil War starting up. That's going to be amazing the next few weeks. That's going to be every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for 3 weeks straight from here on out. Yeah, we're just going to have a great time. Really looking forward to it all. Hope you guys are as well. And yeah, thanks so much for watching and supporting up until now. A couple of Marines are adventuring out onto the map. ByuN bypassing Hellions for the first 6 Marines with the reactor first, but we'll have a couple Hellions on the way now. Something Solar is going to find out as he sends the Lings across. They weren't needed to defend just yet because, well, there was no Reaper. But now you've got a few Marines arriving. Yeah, then the Queens show up, and Marines are unlikely to be able to do much. They're going to try and fight a Queen. I mean, off creep, you're not able to really pull the Queen back, so we get rid of one Queen. Solar. Uh-oh. Okay, well, Solar's actually going to kill a couple of SCVs on the other side, but now ByuN's going to get 2 Queens, and he's going to get himself an Overlord. Okay. I mean, Solar drops the question mark as well, and I don't blame him. I mean, I don't know what's happening, really. I thought Solar would have been a bit more prepared about this, as there's going to be seeing our Hellions and our Marines pressing forward. 2 Queens dead. I mean, ByuN's not going to let up the pressure. He's going to start targeting drones with the Hellions, so he's going to make up for the workers he lost. He really wants that one extra Queen, but he's just not going to get it right. Yeah, it's going to pull back into the corner. Lings get the block. And, wow. The question marks. What the hell's going on? There's Solar going to type something there to ByuN. Probably something going wrong. Maybe Crank will tell us what he is saying if it's of any interest, as the Lings are going to try and run by into this natural. Quite a lot of Lings on the counterattack, so ByuN gonna have to deal with this a little bit. Obviously, Solar had to make a lot of Lings because he's a bit afraid of what was happening. As you have 3 SCVs going down. Good counter, honestly, from Solar. Gets 4 SCVs. Does cost him a bunch of Lings, though. So that's a little bit of something to take note of as well. Solar using the chat into attack strategy. Well, just going to be seeing our Banshee getting rid of a couple of Lings, which come back around. So just going to keep on chasing those around here or there, and just seeing the Stim Pack on the way up as well. A single Banshee. There's going to be a second Banshee here as well, so this Banshee combo going to now look for some damage, try and get rid of some drones. You can see that Banshee's moving through. Hellions getting rid of some troops spread off on the side. And there go the drones being picked away at. 3 workers already going down. I'm just going to get rid of 1 Queen and now looking for another. So actually Queen's taking a lot of damage, but the Hellions are the real kind of culprits of damage right now. They're getting rid of some drones, but also a lot of Zerglings dying. Oh, that was a good reset. Some Lings peeled back, went in on the other side, and actually I think helps the Lings massively in that situation, as ByuN still out of range of the Spore. Actually did a lot against the Queens there. He's now killed 5 Queens this game, so some serious damage onto the Queens. That's just been continuing to build up pretty much throughout. Two Banshees to the far right will try and figure out what they can do moving forward over here. Okay, the Banshee's Cloak going to move into the natural. A few of these drones starting to be picked away at, so damage being dealt. Yeah, I mean, again, just keeping the pressure up to the Banshees at least. Now, Solar has a ton of drones. He's on 67. But what he isn't really set to do is kind of have an army right now. So if ByuN attacks, when 1-1 in combat kicks in, there's a potential that he can maybe overrun a little bit. There might be something he can do right there. I'm going to start pushing down through the middle. I mean, got ourselves some creep to clean out, and like I say right now, not a ton of units from Solar. He's morphing 11 Banelings. They're going to be essential, of course, as we can get through. This creep goes down. I mean, for ByuN, I mean, I was going to say he may not want much more than the creep. Like, he might just be happy with the creep spread, but he actually does get a tank siege, and that tank sieging is also going to be able to it's in a good little corner, right? Like, it's in a good little position, as that's a bit of lag. I'm going to assume that might just be me because no one's pausing. Oh, good. My Korean server's dying. We'll just have to, like I say, go from crank streams to no game sounds or anything. I'm try and turn up the quality a little bit. So that position of ByuN just got busted down. Obviously, it happened as ByuN was killing a bunch of these drones. So a few drones getting picked off and stuff at least, as we do just have the setup now. Continuing along. And it is going to be a 1-1 on the side of ByuN in upgrades, but Solar's not far from his own upgrades, so that's going to even out at least. ByuN just try and drop around over on the left to keep this going. It's going to be having our Marines continuing through. A couple of creep teamers going down. I'm just going to dive on in for as much, as many drones as possible. It's just working on that. We do lift up. We do escape away. Doing a decent job of it. We're just going to be seeing our medevacs now going to try and jump into the main. So again, just try and drop here and there, keep the action rolling. Again, just trying to be as active as possible as he sets up into Liberators alongside his 4th base and extra barracks, which means that he really, I mean, Liberators obviously okay for harassing, very good at kind of powering up like a direct push, which would be almost surprised to see ByuN try and pull off, as I was going to say those Marines were kind of running very far forward as well. He needs to be careful with those, as Solar's just going to come running in and looking to grab the rest of it. So just pushing through, and now the medevac's trying to come along to the bottom left-hand side, if at all possible, as well. So just trying to keep the damage up, trying to keep it all going. And ByuN has about equal supply to his opponent here as well, so it's definitely, I mean, I was just thinking back to a lot of the, the games in the winter bracket finals where ByuN just doesn't get off to good starts. It feels like he's pretty much always trailing in the games, but this doesn't really feel like one of those games, right? This feels like he's in a much better position, a much more comfortable position from the very get-go. And he's moving, like I say, he's just moving along quite comfortably for the most part. As the units of Solar gather up in the center, we are going to be seeing the forces elsewhere, just kind of working around and trying to see what they can do. Well, a couple of drones going down, a couple of Widow Mines obviously just going to burrow up over here. Marines are going to be reliant on those mines. Big Widow Mine shot in the first group of Banelings. That's a huge connection. Helps ByuN out a lot, but he actually doesn't really have anything else to help. So now all of those Marines on the low ground get caught, and he just can't evacuate out of there. And he drop in the back, kills the Hydra Den. Well, that slows down the upgrade on the Hydras, but it doesn't slow down the Lurkers at all. Yeah, you think by the time you get the lurker upgrades up and running, you're kind of okay to kind of just be back on a Hydra Den by then, so I think that's kind of alright as ByuN's going to load up again, and once more is just dropping everywhere, trying to play this very aggressive, all-around the map kind of style at the moment. ByuArmy's still just pushing through as you do have a look then off over to the right side. Medevac's load up, back into the center they go. Another Widow Mine comes in and just going to be trying to fight. As you do see the 3-3 upgrades building on the engineering base. And a whole chunk of extra Marines on the way out right now from ByuN as well. I mean, just keeping up this bio pressure pretty much non-stop. Bio mine. He'll have to slow it down, though, once the lurkers get established. And ByuN's been okay at getting ghosts up and running. He's just not being great at transitioning into that ghost stage of the game. Trying to fight. The Lings getting a little bit of a surround. Medevac's loading up. And now just going to be seeing ByuN going for the push down the right side, looking to clean out some more of the creep spread, trying to open a gap to this right side base. This was the base which, I mean, they were flipped on... the spawns were flipped, but when they played earlier, this is the base ByuN was able to kill. That really started to turn the game around, and right now, Solar is not able to kill these units on this base, and this hatchery likely goes down before this gets dealt with, so that hatchery is going to fall. Medevac's unloading on the back of this Mineral Line, Spore Crawl and everything, trying to do some damage. Yeah, nice kill from ByuN, able to get that base down at least, and obviously just keeping on rebuilding. But is he going to be able to deal with the lurkers? The Seismic Spines is done, that upgrade is now in play, and that's going to be a pretty big question mark for us from here on out. That's really going to change a lot of what's happening, I'd imagine. Three. Still on its way through here from ByuN. Lings, Banes. One to run around the left side. A couple of Widow Mines already burrowing up as well. Whoa. Frank has the mini-map full screen button. I've never seen that before. That's cool. That must be a scene where he just has like the bottom left screen region captured and maximized. That's actually pretty cool. It's a pretty neat... it's one of those things that's kind of cool, but at the same time, it's like it's very rarely actually more useful than what you can show on the screen anyway. Yeah. Kind of neat, though. I was just going to see the Medevac's going to lift off, and away they go. Going to boost on back. Parasitic Bomb will kill that full Medevac, too. ByuN knows it. Oh, he loses another as well. That one was at least empty. A lot of these trades have just been very close to breaking out. Very close to kind of just... I mean, the trades just are even. And no one can really kind of just quite gain an advantage from any of these fights, I guess. Obviously, ByuN's still only 4 bases. Might need to start thinking about a 5th base here, 14 minutes in. Loading up another drop, and again, he has just been so drop-heavy. Ghosts coming out. First Lurk is taken to the stage from Solar. And this might be the start of another phase of this game right now, basically. All those Lurkers on the left. ByuN needs to be careful. Okay. I thought they were on hold positions so they wouldn't fire until Solar told them to, so maybe ByuN walks into them, but they weren't, and so ByuN kind of knows that they're there. He's going to go for it. Blinding Cloud's going to make that a horrible idea, surely. ByuN just attacking into all these Lurkers. A few snipes going down. Oh, it's unnecessary. You've got so many snipes available. Why are we stimming the entire ByuArmy into them as well? I really feel like that's a misjudgment. Like, he's done it a couple of times now in this series. I mean, it's tempting. He's like, oh, look, there's nothing in front of them. That seems like a good trade. And sometimes I'm sure it is, but you gotta have a little bit of respect, I think, sometimes for these units. Overall, resources lost heavily in ByuN's favor. But Solar's had the extra bases up for the most part. He's been sitting on those 90 drones, and while ByuN's been denying bases here and there, Solar has been good at re-establishing bases and having other options a lot of the time. Well, the side of 4 still kind of looking to move through into the center. Obviously, lurkers do change the way this game plays. And ByuN's going to have to play very cautiously around that idea and around that entire setup now as well. So, lots for him to watch out for. We are going to push towards creep here. And starting to step onto that creep spread, clearing out a bunch of it. ByuN pressing in just a little bit. Can be seen how Ling's going to go running forwards. ByuN's trying to fight. Widowmine's going off. Banes and Hydras continue to get struck. Oh my god, the Widowmines were huge on the Banes. This might be a chase down for ByuN. He might be able to hunt this army of Solar. There's no Lurkers here either, right? So he's got a chance. Oh, the Lurkers on the top side, killing off some SCVs on the counter. ByuN does not get on top of this base just yet, but that doesn't mean his opportunity to do so has completely gone. He's going to split up now. Now he's going to start going, trying to snipe down some Hydras. Well, the Bane's going to connect on. The Banes just want to go north. That's where all the Marines are. If the Banes can get there, you take away a lot of the DPS of ByuN, who is going to just try and split back. 12 SCVs lost across the map, so his work account taking hits. Still trading over here. A couple of Widowmines burrowing up. Oh, blows up onto Lings that drag it onto the Bio army, though. So the Terran army takes it. Even more damage. Just going to be seeing the rest of this continue to try and fight. The +2 missile upgrade on the way up from Solar as well, so all of that's still coming through. Lurk is still fighting. And just going to be seeing the Lings still running up in the middle of the Ghost and the Bio units being chased away as we want to run to the left-hand side and try and do what we can. We've got a few of these Lurkers being sniped down at the moment. And just going to be seeing the Banes crashing in to kill a base over there. I mean, ByuN finally protects the top right, but he loses the top left base altogether. Can he get some units as they exit? He's obviously going to chase, but I don't think he's going to get much. A couple Banes, but that's about all it is. Top right base here is up from Solar. ByuN realizing it. There's only a handful of drones there, but obviously better to find a handful than nothing, because then you can start to kill them. So the Ghosts are going to attempt to do that right now. Is just going to be starting to pick it off. Ling's starting to run through. Ghost's going to cloak. We actually snipe some drones. Okay. Not sure the drones are worth sniping compared to, like, the Hydras. We've ducked a couple of Ghosts as well, as we're just trying to get rid of those Ghosts. Completely scrappy game here. Continuing to play out as the Ghosts turn around once again. The Banes are going to try and turn on this. ByuN's kiting back, getting off creep. His units loaded into medevacs to try and help you escape. Ghost's still up there, but they need to actually start hitting the mineral line. Obviously, they've been kind of just hitting the hatchery for the moment, and ByuN's been too busy to really refocus them. Now he's going to start hitting the mineral line, but like I say, maybe a bit too late, because now Lings can respond. Medevac has healing, and the Lings will not do well against Ghosts, in fact. So the Ghost hit squad is working wonders in the top right-hand corner. Just going to be seeing the Ghosts lifting up one more time, and just backing away once again. A lot of extra Lingbane Hydras on the way out. Solar suddenly has a lot more supply than ByuN does. He's just kept enough drones up and running. Obviously, ByuN losing bases has been a little bit more substantial than the harassment that Solar has taken, and I think that's going to be the end result, is that Solar just probably is able to afford too much for ByuN to really keep up with. Yeah, I mean, nice. These Ghosts over here doing well. I mean, sniping anything they can get, any unit right now is good for him. Really just wants to get rid of whatever he can, as we have a Ling counterattack in a different location. I like that. Just somewhere ByuN's not as well set to deal with, right? And it's just every base is an orbital, so every base is easily hit by just Zerglings. Top right side is being broken as well. I think this is going to be the push that ends it all, because Solar's got units on top of bases. He's got units on top of reinforcements. ByuN types out question mark. It was a hell of a game from Solar. GG. And then Solar's going to take a 3-0 lead. On the top right-hand side, it is going to be 3-0 in the lead. I mean, what a position to be in. You've got to imagine that he is kind of just thinking that he's on the verge of victory. Obviously, 3-0 is the verge of victory, but he's been playing great games. Obviously, a shame we lost the in-game viewing of that last one, guys. I apologize. Obviously, not really anything I can do about it. If the game lag is out on IDC, I mean, the players could have rehosted, but I just wanted to keep them going, man. I just wanted to keep the games rolling. So, yeah. Okay, well, top right is Solar. He's playing great. Like I say, that's a really scrappy last game on Berlingrad. And ByuN with the question mark at the end. Couldn't quite believe it. Here's our red Terran in the bottom left-hand corner as we get into game number 4. Okay, guys, just a quick mention. Obviously, 2v2 tournament is already started. I will be casting that as soon as we are done here in the WardiTV Winter Championship. And obviously, we're going to finish the Winter Championship before we go to the 2v2. That's just the way it works. I'm not going to quit the grand finals of my own event to swap over to the 2v2. You know what I mean? It's the other way around. So finish off this and then we'll go from there. Alrighty then, so we can get this up and running. Just gonna be having the command center setting up on the natural here to start out with, and extra racks on the way down. I'm just gonna be seeing ByuN playing a bit of 2 racks opening. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Going to what he's most comfortable with. He just has to get a game on the board right now, you know. Just needs to get a game on the board to start out with as we get this going. Again, just to reiterate, Solar's just won so many of my tournaments recently. I think going back over the last few events that I've ran, the WardiTV Winter Warm-Up was won by Solar, right? Actually, just going to look in his name on Wikipedia because it's actually impressive. So in the last few months, Solar has won the following WardiTV events. Oh, if Wikipedia actually wants to load. Now Wikipedia is not being my friend. It was like, oh yeah, actually, yeah, we'll be your friend, and now it's not. It just doesn't want to load at all. Cool. All good. I didn't actually want to tell people anyway, Wikipedia. Oh, there we go. He won the WardiTV Winter Championship Korean Regionals. He won the WardiTV Team Liquid Map Contest Tournament. He won the WardiTV New Year Invitational, and he won the WardiTV Christmas Invitational. And the tournament that I ran before that was the WardiTV Hype Train, and that was a 2nd place. But he's won like 3 or like 4 of the last 5 events I run or something. Like, it's ridiculous. He's been crazy good. He's actually playing an anti-2-racks build here. He's playing a lot of Lings, which are looking to flood and basically take advantage of ByuN and get some Marine kills nice and quickly. He's going to get a few Marines on the low ground easily, and then these Marines on the ramp shouldn't be there. I don't know what ByuN's doing. Like, these Marines are meant to be in the main. Like, there's no reason for these Marines to be where they are. Like, they shouldn't walk down the ramp like that. I mean, they just shouldn't walk down. I don't know why he's got the Marines on the ramp. This is just going to be a GG's. I mean, I'm just going to show you guys. Like, this isn't meant to happen. Like, so this is the entire reason you have these Marines here. Because when these Lings attack, what you should do, it's not great to have these Marines here, but what you should do is pull the SCVs up. These Marines move here, and this depot raises. And if these SCVs don't get in time, you just raise this depot anyway. Because right now, I just don't get why he runs down the ramp. I think he assumes he can get an SCV wall with the Marines. But then what is he protecting by coming down the ramp that he wouldn't protect on the high ground anyway? He's going to lose these Marines no matter what. These SCVs, 50-50 if they're inside or not. I just don't understand what he feels like he's protecting by coming down the ramp here that he wouldn't have protected pulling back anyway, you know? Because, I mean, there's no way you're meant to win this. This is a build order win for Solar if ByuN's Marines are on the low ground. And that's why in a 2-1-1 opening, you never put your Marines on the low ground. You always have them in the base because you can't deal that. You can't deal with this attack. That was just a bad response from ByuN. He did not do what he was meant to do there. GG's.